to it. I have known Mrs. Jumper for, oh my gosh, about 15 years. And we used to work together as real estate brokers. And as long as I've known her, she's always said that she wanted to move and get a farm. And she's done it, guys. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Jumper. Mrs. Jumper, welcome. Thank you. These are some of our fifth graders. And their teachers, Ms. Price, Mrs. Wright, Ms. Thomas, and Mr. Carter.
Okay. Well, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, we can.
yes.
You can. Okay. 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 Great. Well, welcome. I hope you did get a chance to watch the video. This is really strange to try to do this. We just tried to make it work the best we could, and there was one thing that I did not include in the video that I do want to, because I didn't want the video to get too long. But there's one other thing we wanted to add about our farm. We also raise our own chickens to eat. So let me see. I'm going to try to show you these right here. These are, I see somebody covering her face. These are the chickens that we on our farm. So they get to us. They actually are shipped in the mail after they're born. So we get a call from the post office, and and I hear in the background a whole bunch of little chirpies. The birdies have arrived, and we go pick them up from the post office, and then we raise them here, and we process them right here. My 10-year-old and 13-year-old help us process them from the whole thing, and then we freeze them and put them in the freezer, and that's our food. I don't know. Do you guys have any questions? I can go outside. I'm guessing, were you able to work out the issue with the sound, and were you able to hear everything on the video?
Yeah, so what the students did was they opened the video in a different tab and they watched it.
Okay, okay. Do you have...
I think she froze. Guys, if you have any questions, please type them in the comment, and I will read out the question. Put your questions in the comment, and please make sure you mute it. So, Mrs. Jumper, I think it was Miss Thomas who said she learned that now that there are machines that milk the cow. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, so I'll tell you a story about that machine. So when we first got our cows, we were so excited. I'd never had a farm. I'm from New York City, okay? And so we bought this property, and we were excited. We got cows right away. And the cows we had were actually already giving milk. So my husband he came from a very poor family, and they had one cow, which they milked for their family. And so he knew how to milk a cow. But it requires, you got to do this. I don't know if you can see, but this is the motion you have to do to milk a cow. And it would just take him a long time. And he's a grown man with big hands, so it's really hard. He would come home in the kitchen and say, "I can't keep milking this cow like this. It's really hurting my hand. We need money to buy a milk machine." Well, I'm the one who handles the funds in my family, and I was like, "We don't have the money for the machine. We don't want to have the money because it's $1,500 for a milk machine." So, well, one day he came in and said, "I'm not milking anymore until we get a milk machine." And so I wanted the milk, so we found the $1,500 to buy the milking machine. So yes, that machine actually does it a lot faster. Where what would maybe take him an hour to do, takes the machine maybe 4 or 5 minutes to do.
Great. Mrs. Jumper, how big is your property, and how do you do this every day?
Well, we only have 8 acres, which seemed like a lot when we first bought the property, but the more it's not enough, we think. But we have 8 acres, and a lot of it, my husband is retired from the military, so this he does property management on the side, but this is his full-time job. So he's mostly the one who is out almost every day. The girls do some in the sense that they gather the eggs, they walk the dogs. When we have chickens to process, the girls are part of that process, as am I. Um, And the good thing is, I'm as a real estate broker, I have a very flexible schedule, so I'm able to work it in. I cook all my meals from scratch because that's just kind of like how I grew up, I think, and I don't really know any different, and I enjoy that. But it's kind of all of us coming together because this is what was in our heart. We wanted to do it, and we knew we had to work at it.
Yes, and she's an excellent cook because I've had some of her food. I haven't been out to the farm, which I've been talking about going forever, so I've got to get out there. Does Mrs. Jumper keep the animals or eat them when they are fully grown?
Yes, we eat the animals. That is why they're here. We give them a very good life. Take good care of them. But then, so we serve them, and then they serve us.
That's a great way to put it. I cannot wait to be a part of that service. So Mrs. Wright wants to know, do you milk for your family only, or do you sell some of your milk as well?
So we milk for our family in North Carolina. It is illegal to sell raw milk unless it is intended for an animal. So I can sell it to you if you're going to feed it to your animal.
Okay. Do your children play with the animals?
The girls, in the beginning, we used to have different kinds of chickens, different breeds, really pretty ones with fur, feathers on their feet, and the girls would play with them. But I think they kind of like done that, been there, done that, and they're just like, it's okay. Um, the big one, my 13-year-old, she got poked by a rooster one day. She went inside the coop and inside their area, and the rooster, I think, thought she was coming to harm one of the chickens. So he used his spur. That's how they defend themselves, and actually poked a good sized hole on her leg. So she was traumatized after that and didn't want to be bothered with the chickens for a while. But right now we don't have any roosters, so she doesn't have a problem going into with the chickens.
Okay, thank you for answering that because a student just asked, has anyone ever gotten hurt by an animal?
Yeah,
Um,
that's the only incident.
okay, the other question is, was there ever a day you forgot to feed the animals?
If it were up to me to feed them, they probably would have days without food. But that is my husband's routine. He wakes up. Um, he's the first one up in our household, and he gets up, does his quiet time with God and his devotions, and then starts his day. And the start of his day is going out to do his chores. That's what he calls them, his chores, because the farm is really his full time job.
Okay, so when it is time for the animals to serve you, what is that process?
Okay, so according to North Carolina law, we can process chickens on our farm. See, because we sell our products, right, to people who want to eat this way. So chickens, we are allowed to process right here on our farm, and we can sell that meat. But we do get inspected by the think it's the health department a couple times a year, and we have to submit water samples from our well to make sure that we have clean water. Um, but pork, we cannot process them on our farm if we're going to sell it. So we take the pigs to it's called an arbitrator, somebody who does the processing, and then they cut it up and give us the meat, and we sell that. But chickens are the only ones we can process right here. And the day we process chickens is a very long day. We started doing about 100 chickens at one time, and oh my goodness, we're up from like maybe 6 in the morning to 9 at night, just nonstop processing chickens. But now we've done maybe 60 to 75 each time, and it's gotten a little better, but it's a long day because there's quite a few steps to it.
Okay. Have you ever had a problem with any of the animals, and have any of them ever run away?
Well, we have two dogs on the farm, and the breed is called Great Pyrenees. Um, they are herding, not herding, they're livestock animals, and they are meant to protect. And one of them, well, actually, when we first got them, both of them kept wanting to run away because the way they are trained is if there's something they can see, they feel they need to protect it. So if they saw the neighbor, they would try to get out of our area to go protect the neighbor. So we had a little bit of that in the beginning with the dogs. Yes, we've we've had some cows escape, I guess you can say it. We have a large pasture in the front, and they weren't trying to escape. They were trying to eat the grass that was on the other side of the fence. And you know that term, the grass is greener on the other side. Well, it literally was happened here, and we had somebody come down our driveway and say, "Hey, do you own cows? There are some cows out on the road." So my husband and I had to go try to herd three cows. Oh my goodness, that was something. It was funny. Well, it's funny now that I think about it, but it wasn't then. But yes, we've had a couple of escape uh, events. Yes.
Oh my goodness. And do you have any other animals, not counting the cows, pigs, or chickens?
We had ducks. We started out with 12 ducks, and predators took them all out except I think four. Um, and no, my girls have wanted a pony, but we just don't need any more animals, any more responsibility. And my husband's point is ponies are just pretty, and he says they don't provide anything for the farm. Everything that lives here has to serve us in some way. So
So, when did you guys start the farm?
we lived in the Haymont area of Fayetteville, and one year we just happened to read a book about it was called The Maker's Diet, and it taught us a lot about how the things we were eating were really not healthy for us, and it kind of opened our eyes, and then that led to us wanting to change the cooking oils that we used, and then we started getting into organic food and realized it was so expensive to buy organic food. And even a pepper in Harris Teeter, an organic pepper was $4. So we were thinking, man, this is crazy. And then we met some people who had a farm that were processing chickens. So we started buying chickens from them, and I was paying an average of $25 to $30 per chicken, and I would get 20 to 30 chickens at a time. So that's a pretty big paycheck I'd have to pay. But I was gladly doing it because I was getting the food I wanted. But we just started. I think at the same time the Lord placed in both our hearts that we thought we could maybe have a farm. Now remember, I told you I'm from New York City. I've lived in New York City all my life before I came here, and I knew nothing about a farm. But it's funny how when the Lord works on your heart and He makes you a different person. So here I am, coming from New York City, thinking about a farm, and so we started looking, and the Lord led us to this property.
It's just so interesting because I remember when you would talk about we're gonna sell the house, we're gonna get a farm, and you said it and said it, and it came true. So good job.
Yeah.
And guys, also, not only is Mrs. Jumper's husband retired military, Mrs. Jumper, you were the Air Force?
Army.
Army. So she's a military veteran as well. So do you guys think that you will ever open it up, and maybe you already have, where students can physically like take a field trip to your farm? Or is that a
Yeah,
whole different kind of process?
well, we've been approached about that, and there are some farms in the area that do that. And teaching seems to be in my heart. I really like that, and I love what we're building and what we're doing, and I have a passion for it. And we have had small groups, like when my girls' scouting troop had come and they worked a little bit. They worked, they picked some weeds and stuff. So we've had that. It's not been anything formal. I'd like it to be formal. I just feel like we've been here 7 years, and we probably are just beginning to actually get things. It has cost us. This farm has taken all our money, because it was not a farm. It was a beautiful, it was a beautiful property. If the old owner came back, she'd probably have a heart attack, because she had beautiful grass everywhere. We've turned all that into pasture. Um, and practical space, but yes, we I want to get to where we do have groups come through.
All right, Miss Jumper. As far as I can see, those are the only questions. Let me scroll down. Oh, there are some. Yep, you answered that. As being a farmer, hard work. Which animals are the hardest to take care of?
Hmm. You know, maybe the cows, in the sense that we want them to be grass fed. So there's a lot we've had to grow a lot to get them, because remember, this was not a farm, so there were no pastures, and the grass that they eat is different than the grass you see in somebody's backyard. So that has to be built over years, and we're still doing that. So in that sense, probably the cows, because we've had to provide the food for them in that way, and it's taken us years to provide those pastures.
Mhm. And so, like, this is a really, really good question. When you are away, like on vacation, what do you do with the animals?
Yeah, so that's the thing. You can't really have a farm and really have vacations, family vacations. So what has happened is, if we go somewhere, it's usually only okay. It's four of us in my family: my husband, myself, and my girls. And most times the girls and I go somewhere. My husband doesn't usually go with us. He's The times that he can go with us is only maybe for a day and a night. And he's very particular. He doesn't want to ask people to take care of his animals. Um, which I'm like, come on, there are people that are offering, but he's very particular. And if the cows are in milk, he does not go anywhere because he wants to be the only one to milk them. So when we have cows in milk, he's not going anywhere. Um, but when the cows are not in milk, he can go away for a day and a night, and have somebody that we know take care of the animals. But he doesn't like to do that for an extended period of time. So it's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice.
Hmm. And so, do you guys also have a garden too, right? Because I think you showed us your herbs.
Yes, we do have gardens. This is the herb garden that I showed you. In the back is where we've grown real food like potatoes, onions, tomatoes, all that stuff. When we first moved here, we were so excited and so passionate and so gung ho. We had a huge garden, and I was able to put up, or can, is the word. I was able to can like 54 quarts of potatoes, and that lasted us about 9 months. Tomatoes, all kinds of stuff. So yes, we try to grow as much of our other food as possible. Also,
You mentioned a lot of issues with predators. What kind of predators, and how do you protect the animals?
yeah. So we've had quite a few chickens. We've had coyotes. That, I mean, when you're in the woods or you have woods around you, it's impossible to not have these things. So coyotes, foxes, we've seen them on our pastures, and have tried to get them, but we just haven't been able to. And so chickens are a really strange animal. They we put them in what we consider a safe spot, but they like to fly, and so we clip their wings, but sometimes we can't always get to it, and they'll fly out of their area and roam, and that's all fine and dandy. But if they're not in their protected area, a coyote, which is what's happened, coyotes come in and get them. Lately, I think it's been hawks that have been getting our chickens, and you really can't do anything about a hawk because it's coming from a top. Now they do sell these nets that you can put over there, but it's so cumbersome, and but yeah. So we've had coyotes, foxes, hawks get our birds. Now the pigs, they're pretty scary in and on themselves, so I don't think that anything is would dare to go in there. They may try to get the babies, but as long as the babies are close to their mom, no fox or coyote is gonna go in that in that pen with the pigs. And the cows are really too big. They're not scared of a fox or coyote.
Right. Sounds good. So the last two questions I see, you guys don't have horses, do you?
We do not.
Okay. And a student asks, is the farm a profitable business?
Oh, that's a great question. It is not. Um, right now, we designated it as a profitable business because there's some designations that you have to fill out with the state if you plan to make it to sell stuff, which we had to do. But we really, no, we're not really. I wouldn't say we make a profit from it. Not at this point. We do not. The things we sell kind of help pay for the pay some, contribute some towards the expenses we have to raise the animals, but we're not making a profit from it. No,
Okay.
I'm fine with that. My
Yeah.
husband is the one that really wants to make it a business. I'm fine with it just feeding us. And like I said, some people know what we sell and they'll call, say, "Hey, I need some pork, whatever." But I'm fine if we don't sell a thing.
Yeah. One that I missed, it says, what do you think the best type of chicken feed is?
Oh well, okay. So it depends on what you want, what the purpose of the chicken is. So there are two chickens that are egg layers and chickens that are for meat. So the chickens that you buy in the grocery store, that's not the same chicken that lays eggs. It's two different. Egg layers are the ones that they'll be tough, so you won't really eat them. They're really only good for stock and stuff like that. So those, but for them to produce eggs, you have to feed them. And so I don't know what feed my husband gets. We tried in the beginning when we first got here. We tried getting an all organic and all soy free, non GMO, but we were going broke because we had like 80 chickens, 80 egg layers, and we had to stop that. So I think he gets the best he can get from, I think, Tractor Supply or some of the local feed places. But you have to feed them. They can't just eat bugs, which is their diet. They need to eat that, but we need to supplement if we want them to lay eggs regularly.
Okay. And so y'all don't, someone asked, can we adopt from your farm? Y'all don't do pet adoption. What is your favorite animal and which animals are the calmest?
Which animals are the what?
Calmest.
Calmest. Oh, okay. Um, my favorite, I guess, in terms of of the ones we have here, I think I really like I like the ducks. We just, like I said, we lost our last duck a few days ago. They're just so pretty, and I do like the chickens because they're so different. Their coloring is different from the different breeds. Their feathering is different. They're pretty and they're just funny. They walk like, what's that dinosaur? There's some dinosaur that kind of walks funny. They walk like that, so they're funny to watch. Obviously, raw milk is very important to me. That my kids drink raw meat, so milk. So I really like the cows for that. I don't think I have a favorite. The pigs, I mean, they give us the bacon and the pork, and we we like meat in my house. So I don't know that I have a favorite. As far as the calmest, I think the cows are the calmest. Yeah.
Great, great. Guys, you asked some really, really good
Me
questions.
too.
Thank you so much. Again, Mrs. Jumper, thank you so much. We love the tour. We like the video. I subscribe to the channel and I have shared it on my other pages. So thank you, teachers. Did you want to say anything to Mrs. Jumper before she goes?
Mrs. Jumper, thank you so much for joining us. We've all been enriched by this experience, and the video was really interesting, and I'm sure all the children here have learned something.
Oh,
So
thank
thank
you.
you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Hi, Miss Jumper.
Hi.
Thank you, Ms.
Um,
Jumper, for the
thank
experience.
you, Miss Jumper, for
Thank you, Miss
everything.
Jumper.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, thank you again, and we appreciate you.
Alrighty, take care, Latanya.
All right, see you later, Jalissa.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Good job, guys. You asked some really good questions. Thank you. And I will turn it back over to Mrs. Wright or Miss Thomas, and I have another meeting to go to.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh.